Find your fun.
I am happy to welcome Janine Blakely and Amanda Espinoza from Montgomery County Parks. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
We're so happy to have you here. Today, we're going to talk about adaptive programs in Montgomery County Parks. But before we do that, I wanted to ask both of you, why is it so important for people with disabilities to have access to park programs, especially close to where they live?
Yes. We believe that leisure activities and having access to those are a right for everybody. So that is why we are here to do and provide those opportunities for people with disabilities to access fun activities, get out in nature, and be a part of the community in any way that they choose to.
And for me, I agree with what Amanda was saying, but we have an opportunity as an organization to really be able to provide those opportunities. And so we're just excited that we can be part of somebody's individual leisure interests and skills and how we can support them.
Well, I was thinking that it's especially terrific that it's close, it's for people with disabilities in Montgomery County, so it's close to where they live, because frequently people with disabilities have to travel to find an adaptive program that works for them. And so that makes a lot of sense. So what prompted Montgomery County Parks to start adaptive programs?
Yeah, so since 2016, we've actually been doing a really good job in providing inclusion support for individuals who are participating in any one of our programs that Parks offers. We have programs in our nature centers, our ice skating rinks, our tennis facilities. We also have historic sites that offer tours, and so we've been providing those support services, whether it's additional support staff, sign language interpretation, adaptive equipment, behavior supports if they need it. So we felt like we were doing a great job. And what we were finding as we were going through and looking at the offerings that were in Montgomery County, we really were looking at the gaps in services. And so Recreation does an amazing job with the programs that they offer. And so we wanted to find those sort of niche opportunities that might not exist elsewhere. So we started with our adaptive kayaking program. And since then, we've also started an adaptive walking program. We just had our first adaptive mountain biking program, which was a huge success thanks to all of our participants and many volunteers. And we hope to just continue to find those gaps and see where we can fill in that outdoor recreation space.
Really, you're looking at broadly at all the programs Montgomery County Parks offers and determining the best way to serve people with all different kinds of disabilities. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. We don't limit the individuals that can participate in our programs. We just ask for that advanced registration so we can connect with them and learn how we can support them. And it is really like what Janine said, finding those unique opportunities that a parks organization can offer. So getting out on the water, getting out in nature, on our trails, is really what we're looking to do.
So, how do you connect with the disability community in Montgomery County? Like, how do you let people know about these programs?
We do a lot as a team. So we have a program access office that also has a community outreach specialist who serves on different advocacy groups and committees for county organizations. And her name is Ashlyn Thompson. She represents us and is the one that's kind of spreading the word about the services we provide, but also now these programs that we're starting to provide as well. And we also create those partnerships with those community organizations by having in-person meetings, attending their events and programs, and just letting them know that we are looking to provide these opportunities and asking them what their participants and the people they support are looking for from us. That way we're not creating programs that people don't want to go to. We're creating programs that there is a gap for that people are interested in, whether it's birding or fishing or archery or other types of sports and activities that we can help provide.
Yeah, wasn't Was there an adaptive or accessible birding event?
We did. We're actually hosting an accessible birding week in October. I believe it's the third week in October. It's an international movement called Birdability, which is about making birding accessible for all people. And so whether it's promoting the trails that would be appropriate for wheelchair users, or teaching folks how to use different apps or adaptive equipment. Last year at our adaptive birding event, we were able to unveil our Enchroma sunglasses so that people who are colorblind could actually see color using these sunglasses. And so that was a really unique opportunity. And we had, 14-year-old boy who had never seen color before, who was looking at the grass and couldn't believe how green it was. So it was a pretty amazing opportunity. And now those glasses actually live at Brookside Gardens so that people can experience color. And I think we've had over 120 folks use it since we rolled it out last October. So
what a great opportunity. I hope somebody is filming that somewhere, honestly. I imagine that the people who participate in the programs are the best word of mouth to get the word out about the programs. Have you gotten feedback so you can modify the programs or change them, or hopefully raise more money to get more adaptive equipment? Have you gotten feedback?
Yeah, we send out surveys to our participants, and then we also speak to them while they're at our programs and events to get that in time immediate feedback as well, so that we can continue to improve our programs. A lot of them are really happy at just having the opportunity, and we really try our best to make sure we're prepared ahead of time for their attendance and how we can support them. So we get to know them pretty much before they even show up at our program, at our parks. And
That's great.
it's all about building those relationships with those families, because they are the ones that are telling their friends or the organizations or communities that they're a part of as well, to let them know this isn't just a program, it's a good program, and it's one that they feel supported in, and that their family members can be successful at. So we have had a lot of them come back multiple times, especially our adaptive kayaking program. It's kind of becoming a little club.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah,
that's great.
because
That's
we have the
great.
same people come back, and they're building their skills together. They're trying something new together, and so it's kind of like a small community now for them and their families.
So adaptive kayaking, adaptive walking, adaptive mountain biking, adaptive birding,
Yeah,
adaptive gardening.
adaptive gardening,
fishing
adaptive fishing.
as well,
Wow.
and then so much more to come.
Yeah. So I know earlier, Janine, you mentioned you have always, as the law requires, provided inclusion supports for people with disabilities in the regular parks programs. So how do these adaptive programs fit in with those regular park programs? And so now, is it inclusion supports in some of the programs and adaptive and others? How does that work?
Yeah, so we're kind of doing it a couple different ways. I'll use the adaptive mountain biking as an example. So we hosted our first adaptive mountain biking event that was more focused on individuals with disabilities using the adaptive equipment. Going forward, our plans are to collaborate with our internal trails team, who host regular or standard mountain bike rides for a group of people, and we're going to bring our bikes to those rides. So it'll be an opportunity for individuals with disabilities to connect with everybody. And so we're excited about that model. In addition, our kayaking program is another good example. We've had several participants who have been able to build skills using the adaptive equipment that's available. And now they're able to go and rent kayaks on their own with their family, or participate in our witchy paddle that happens, or, so we are trying to build skills so that people can then independently go and participate in any one of our programs. So that's kind of the model that we're hoping to have.
And that makes so much sense, because you're giving the autonomy to the person and you're enabling them to make their choices, which is exactly what the Americans with Disabilities Act is all about.
Right.
So that makes so much sense. And then, I'm sure if people choose not to, they can continue to participate and build their skills on their own with the adaptive equipment as well.
Correct. Yeah, they can also choose not to come to an adaptive kayaking program and attend one of the general recreational like kayaking programs and request adaptive equipment or request a support staff for those programs, and we would still provide those services. So it's just a different environment and kind of a little bit of a different process and preparation,
Yeah.
but we would still be able to support them if their schedule only allowed them to attend one of the other programs or their location or whatever the case may be for them. And so we still would be able to provide those supports and, like Janine said, see them grow from our intentionally created adapted program to be able to attend those other programs and feel like they have the skills to be successful.
Well, and again, that makes so much sense because you don't really want to look at the program list and see adaptive program listed and regular program listed. You want, everybody to have the choices. But especially depending on what kind of changes you're making, I would guess that the person may want to become oriented and used to, the adaptive kayaking before they start with a regular class.
Yeah.
I assume that makes. So do you receive a lot of requests for modifications in the regular parks programs?
We do. We are actually part of so the Program Access Office, which, we provide those programs and services as part of a larger parks access team. So we have somebody who's responsible to ensure that all of our facilities and parks and pavilions are accessible. We have an individual whose sole responsibility is on making sure our website and documents are accessible. We have somebody that's doing employment accommodations. So we have individual units within parks that are making sure that basically all areas are accessible for everyone. And so, in addition to the requests that we get for our programs, our camps are absolutely our busiest time of year, as you might imagine, for our young folks with disabilities. We're getting requests for playground enhancements or, employees who want to bring their service animals. So we're constantly sort of working together to make sure that we're doing the best that we can so that people with disabilities feel welcomed in everything that we do.
Yeah, and it sounds like the disability community in Montgomery County knows exactly where they can go to request the whatever that they need.
I hope they do. I mean, we do try to get the word out. I think we're still growing. We want people to think about Montgomery Parks when they're thinking about a safe place to go. And so we continue. I love this opportunity that we can share some of the work that we're doing so that more folks know about us and they can come and visit.
Now, are you guys willing to be a model for other local governments that are grappling with this? Because, access within parks is an issue everywhere, all across the country. And then how to really integrate accessibility into the regular programming of parks as opposed to having a therapeutic recreation program or a separate program for people with disabilities. And so it sounds like you have a lot of different options available. Are you willing to talk to other local governments and connect? I mean, I know you are very active in the professional association, Maryland Recreation Parks Association, Maryland Recreation Parks Association, but yes.
So the answer is yes, and also we are grateful for the other folks who are willing to share their knowledge, their experiences, their shortcomings, their pitfalls, so that we could learn from them as well. So it really, I really believe that it takes a village, and so as we keep sharing how we did it and how others have done it, we will continue to evolve and then grow these different opportunities in sports. And I think so yes, the answer is yes, we would be happy to. But also there's many others who have been blazing this trail for a while too. So
that makes a lot of sense. Well, it's interesting. You guys are a great example of what I'm always saying in my trainings, that this is really a case by case basis, and you deal with one individual at a time, and try and make as many options available as possible. And it looks like Montgomery County Parks is doing a really excellent job. Can you tell me a little bit about how you accommodate people with disabilities in special events? We've been talking about specific parks programs, but what about special events?
For special events, we work with the event organizers to ensure that they're accessible by providing things like sign language interpretation. We have an accessible shuttle cart, which is suitable for wheelchairs as well. And we also provide amenities like a sensory retreat tent for people to be able to kind of get away from the louder environment and have a space where they can calm down and regroup. And we also have different services that individuals can request, like assistive listening devices or any type of adaptive equipment that might help them get around and access different areas of the event as well. And we're working together to make sure that they're all accessible.
So is this information available on your website? Like, how would a person with a disability know?
Yeah.
So we're working with the event planners to include that language on the event page itself. So we like to share with people what the surface is like what they can expect when they get there. So for our larger events, we're actually building social stories, so you can somebody can get a clear idea in their mind about what they're going to be walking into.
That's great, especially for people maybe with intellectual disabilities or people with autism who need to know the lay of the land before they go in. Tell us a little bit more about what adaptive equipment you have available, and is that also available on your website?
All of our services, again, I don't think we mentioned, are free of charge. So nobody needs to pay to access them. We just request as much notice as possible so we can prepare how to get it out there for everybody. So we have an adaptive equipment guide that explains all of the equipment that we have, the website where we have a little bit more listed in English and in Spanish, and where all of the equipment is located and how to access it. So if somebody goes to Brookside Gardens and needs to borrow a wheelchair, it's totally free, and it's already on site, so they just can go during the visitor office hours, for example, and be able to use that piece of equipment. There's some other equipment that they would need to reach out to us for, and we would take it out to the park or facility that they'd like to use it at. And so it is kind of that interactive process, and our contact information is on every website, every flyer, every
Press release.
People know how to.
all the press releases, so that we are accessible to people that want to attend an event but might need an additional support to be able to be successful.
Well, and it sounds like you're also educating the people who are putting on the special events, because they might not necessarily know that they have an obligation to provide a sign language interpreter or whatever, depending on the event. So if you're working collaboratively with them to get that message out on the advertisement so people call in, that's great. That's great. Any other information you'd like to share that I didn't ask you about?
How to find us. So if you go to www.montgomeryparks.org/accessibility, that will give you access to our upcoming programs, the adaptive equipment that we have available, our special events. And there's also a tool where you can sort different parks, pavilions, courts, and restrooms based on the accessibility features that they have available. So definitely something worth checking out. You can email us at programaccess@montgomeryparks.org, and you can call us at 301-495-2581.
So we will try and get the word out there so we can help people with disabilities find their fun.
Yes.
Yay.
Learn more about the Americans with Disabilities Act or adaptive recreational programs. Contact the Regional ADA Center by calling 1-800-949-4232 or visit us online at adata.org.